I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Give me my fucking money or get the fuck out of my house! I was arrested by mall security yesterday, and now Harper's entire family thinks I'm a criminal.
Hey, babes, what's up?
I just killed two people. Two gentlemen.
That's awesome.
So we made this oath. Whoever died first would send the other a sign.
A sign? From the afterlife?
You could call it that. You could call it a million things.
But how do you know if it's a sign?
I'm a medium. He was a medium. I'll just know it.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 76 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. Yet another special episode. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
Doing okay, man. How are you doing on this fine morning?
Ill prepared. No, I'm prepared well for this special, but this has been one of the toughest lists to put together since we started. And I think I say this every fucking week, but it's truer every week, and especially this time, because I could put my number 7 as my 1 and my 1 as a 10. I don't know. It's been tough. How about you? Did you have an easy time with this?
No, I agree. For me, this was probably the toughest list as well. And that's not because I was struggling to find movies that I loved, or things that I loved, I should say. It's rather that it's been a while, and, I didn't manage to rewatch anything, basically, and I only got around to watching a couple of new things, so it was a struggle to kind of figure out the order of the list, because, as I said, it's been a while. But nevertheless, that's not Kristen Stewart's fault.
No,
it's just,
not at all.
It's been a while. So, but I'm content with the list. It's just going to be a bit all over the place. But
sure.
You are tired every week, and you got that throat thing going. I'm all over the place. That's my shtick, you know.
I didn't know my throat thing was a well-established trait of mine.
You losing your voice? Didn't we establish that?
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best today.
I'm looking forward to it again.
So. It's not. Yeah. I'm a smoker, you know.
Sorry, what?
I'm a smoker. It makes things tough.
I genuinely thought you said I'm a small Korean man.
Not today. Not
today. Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, you heard the intro. I hope it turned out well. I don't quite know what it's going to be, because obviously, yeah. Do you have any pointers of things that need to be included in that intro? Does she have any really memorable quotes?
I'm sure there's some great Twilight quotes, but I don't know if they're gonna make any of our lists.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought about this 2 days ago, about the intro and what we could use for that, and there may be one or two scenes, but dude, I'm kind of stumped.
Yeah,
but I think there's just so many movies and things that I gotta revisit that I didn't have time for, and I think once we look at some things up, we're gonna come across some gems.
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's always difficult to find these 1 or 2 second clips that fit in that intro.
Right,
it's not easy
without music in the background.
Yeah, well, yeah, I broke that rule a couple of times already because I've given up on other things. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I hope it turns out well. But I think we should dive straight into this. Let's.
Right.
Do you want to tell everyone how this special episode works? What we're going to do now, and then dive into it?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, welcome to one of our special episodes. If you're new to this, here we talk about the best thing that we've seen, either from a certain person or from a certain genre. And this time, our topic is Kristen Stewart. And we're going to do this in the form of a top 10 list. We're going to count down to the best thing that we've seen from her. And yeah, we're going to compare our picks. And if I have something on my number 10, for example, and Flo has it on his, number 4, we're going to postpone the discussion. But if it's on my 9 and his 8, we're going to have it then and there. And yeah, talk about what we found great about that performance or that movie. And it's a mixture of best movie and also best performance. So it's always kind of tough to weigh those things up. But I think it's going to be fun. And yeah. As always, we don't know what each other's picks are going to be. And I think, once again, this has never been so true than today, because I don't even have a clue what could be on your list.
Well, I think we have. So, how many things have you like watched for this, like that you hadn't seen before?
I think 2, maybe 3. No, sorry, 4.
You want to raise it to 5?
Or let's just say I think 2 have made the list.
Okay, fair enough.
How about you?
I watched 3 new things, and 2 of them made my list as well.
Okay,
but I think we're gonna have a very, very, very similar list, but not in terms of placement.
Could be.
That's my prediction of the day.
3 things that I don't think are going to make your list, but who knows? And
Yeah.
Before we started recording just now, I watched a clip of her on YouTube from, I don't know, Variety or whatever magazine,
Sure.
where she talks about her career.
Sure.
And she talked about 1 or 2 things that I didn't even have on my radar, and I was like, fuck, maybe I should have watched this, but there's still time.
Those are my favorite movies, the ones that are not on your radar.
It's a lot.
I hope I can provide you with some of my picks today.
Dude, I have a feeling like at least one of those movies you haven't seen either, but I could be wrong.
Oh, dude, I haven't seen close to everything by any means.
Okay.
Like, I'm missing a couple of big things too, and I will get to those. But before we dive into the list, I feel like Kristen Stewart. When we talked about who we're going to do the special on, I thought of Kristen Stewart because what was that? We talked about her recently. What was it?
The Panic Room on the Fincher special.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I feel like she's still mostly known for Twilight, but if you really dive into her filmography, you get to find some just incredible gems, and she's just great. She's just a great actress, and I think a lot of people still haven't really noticed that, or are still like in that Bella bubble. Was that her name? I think it was Bella, right?
Bella or Bella? I don't know. Yeah. B or A at the end.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, same for Patrick. What's his name? Jesus.
Patrick?
No,
Robert
Patrick.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. That's the P in there.
Right.
No, yeah, same for him. Great actor, but still that stigma of Twilight. And I think it's difficult for a lot of actors. Also, if they've done a lot of shows or something, they're just typecast in that role in people's minds. And yeah, if you dive deeper, there's so many good things in there.
Yeah, I think they're both, especially Pattinson has already broken out of that a bit more than Stewart, but I think they're both doing that and have been somewhat successful over the recent years, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you still haven't checked out any of their other films, then please do that, and we'll talk about at least 10, I'm sure more today. So let's dive into it. I think it's my turn to start, right?
Could be. I forgot to look it up.
I think you started the Fincher special. So
did I?
I think so.
Could be, yeah.
So I think it's my turn
let's
to
go
start.
for it, yeah.
Yeah. So my 10 is Charlie's Angels. I couldn't get to it without laughing. No, it's not.
Oh,
it's
okay,
not
Jesus. Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
What a terrible movie.
My 10. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't like it. But
Okay,
anyway, go on.
We start off bashing it. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. So my 10 is a movie that I watched for this, and a movie that actually this is the first time ever that we're going to talk about a movie on a special that could have been a regular pick as well.
Okay.
Because it is a quite recent film that I hadn't seen before. And my 10 is Seberg.
Yeah, I watched Seberg as well for this special, but it didn't make my list.
Okay. Well, it's my 10. But I feel like when revisiting her filmography, whether it was through watching trailers or just like looking up on IMDb, more recently we got Kristen Stewart movies, right? Back in the day, she was maybe the side character or had like smaller parts in movies. And recently she's become like the main actress. And Seberg is really on my list for that reason. I mean, she carries that movie. And if you don't know what Seberg is about, it's about she portrays Jean Seberg. I think, was it French-American actress?
I think she's American, but she got big in France and then moved there and married a Frenchman.
Right, okay. But she got into trouble for helping out the Black Panther movement that was going on in America and sort of providing funds and starting relationships with one black man in particular. And the FBI was not happy with that and sort of, what's the word? Putting surveillance on her, surveilling her,
surveilling her, and smear campaigns, and
ridiculous if you think about it. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen that movie, The Conversation, the Coppola movie?
I don't think so. No.
Where I think it's The Conversation with Gene Hackman, and it's got elements of that because of just like the paranoia that sets in when she's like looking through every single thing in her room because she knows she's being like bugged, but she can't find anything.
That must be a fucking nightmare. That's like a nightmare of mine. Just not knowing if somebody's watching, and just everybody thinks you're fucking crazy, but you know you're right, but you come across as a lunatic.
Yeah. No, it's unreal. I really liked her performance, and I must say, the cast of like Jack O'Connell, Cookie from Skins, Cook. I
think it's been a long time.
Yeah. As the FBI guy with some sort of conscience.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn as the FBI guy with no conscience
weird.
At all.
Yeah. Honestly, I liked the movie, or at least I really liked her part of the story, but the whole FBI arc threw me off, and that's why it didn't make my list.
What do you mean the arc? Like
it felt like a movie in a movie, and I remember I saw the trailer actually about a year ago or more when I was in Top Kino, one of the more artsy, I guess, cinemas in Vienna, and it looked interesting to me. So I kind of saw like the first 10-30 seconds. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop listening to this because I want to go in fresh if I see a movie. And now I saw it for the special, and I didn't expect the whole story arc of the FBI agents, seeing their perspective, and it felt kind of off. I was expecting more to see the life of the actress and her troubles with all of this, but I don't know, I thought it would have been more interesting if you didn't see like the good FBI guy. You don't need a good guy in there,
Well, I still don't think he's necessarily a good guy. I mean, he's at the okay, let's not spoil this, but I mean, he's still a bad guy for doing what he does, right? It's not like the movie's not trying to portray him as
his choice. I mean, he starts working for the FBI. He has different expectations of what that job entails, and then gets kind of disillusioned with it. I mean, he's not necessarily good, but he does seem like more of the conscience of this organization, or at least the operation.
I mean, I don't know how accurate that is to real life.
I have no idea. That's a good question. I wondered myself if that character was even real.
Yeah. But Zazie Beetz, I think you've professed your love for her on this podcast before.
I have. I really like her.
Yeah.
But her role is quite small.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Sadly, yeah.
And also Margaret Qualley, I think that's how you pronounce her name, from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, as Jack O'Connell's wife. I mean, it's an interesting stacked cast, but for me, it was still... Yeah, go on, sorry.
Sorry, Anthony Mackie.
Sure, of course, yes.
As the Black Panther leader, or... Not leader, but...
A big figure in it, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. I actually liked him in this movie. I'm not a big fan of Anthony Mackie. I think I said that before, but I liked him in that movie. But still, Kristen Stewart was the standout to me. And I mean, even if you remember like the very last scene where the credits start rolling, I think that's some damn good acting towards the end there. In that
she's
scene
good.
Specifically, yeah.
Yeah, she's really good, yeah.
I agree. But then again, I mean, the reviews aren't great for this movie. They're all like, if they rave about it, it's more like about the acting than about the story, maybe. Yeah. It's directed by Benedict Andrews, who directed a movie called Yuna with Rooney Mara. And that's about the only other thing I've seen from that guy. But, yeah, it's a decent film and nothing more, in my opinion. That's why it's only my number 10.
It's a fair pick. And I understand why. She's really good in this.
Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah. What do you got?
My number 10 is a bit of an unlikely pick, and I gotta admit, her role isn't like huge in this,
right?
But it's a very early role. I think I
know what's coming.
Yeah,
maybe.
And I really enjoyed this movie, to be honest, and I just want to give it a shout out, which is
so excited.
Zathura, A Space Adventure.
Okay, no, I was not thinking about this. I have not seen this.
Okay, I watched this. I know. Quite a few years ago. I think I was sick, and I think it's a perfect movie for this. It's a kids movie, and it's Jumanji. Period. It's even from the same author, or at least the book that Zathura is based on is also the guy who wrote the book for Jumanji.
Right.
And otherwise, it would be a knockoff, but with that information in mind. It's not, and
It's like nobody read
yeah,
John Wick.
and it plays out pretty much the same way. It's kids who find a game, and it turns out that game makes things happen. And this time it's more about space. So they start playing, and suddenly their house starts to float in space. And every time they kind of roll, or I don't think they even roll, they got another type of system to determine turns or whatever. And I don't know, like a spaceship comes across, like finds them full of weird aliens, and they have to fight them. And I think Josh Hutcherson, I think is his name, the guy also from Hunger Games, of course, is the kid, like the main kid who plays this game, and his sister is played by Kristen Stewart, who is not a big fan of what is going on, but of course then kind of tries to help her brother and his friend, or the other brother. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But I remember this being a fun ride, and it's a movie that wasn't anywhere on my radar before, and I don't think a lot of people know about this, especially since it is kind of in the shadow of Jumanji, and apparently even the working title for this movie was Jumanji 2.
Okay.
Which it really is, but I think you should really give it a shot. I think it's a fun, sweet, very simple kids movie. It's not anything too crazy, but yeah, it's also one of the earlier parts where I saw Kristen Stewart in something else. I was a bit more in the mindset of she's Bella.
Yeah.
Period. I think I saw this before I saw Panic Room probably as well. But yeah, it's a fun kids movie. I don't think I have a lot to say about this, because it's been a long time and it's just so freaking wacky. But
directed by Jon Favreau, which
really
is okay, you didn't know that,
dude. I had the page open, but I was more concentrated on the offer.
Yeah, I mean that's about the only, because I don't really, because you said I should give this a try.
Right, yeah.
I don't really know if I want to like run out to see a kids movie.
No, fair enough. Like I said, it's
without
perfect for
denigrating
when you're sick or something like that.
Right.
You have nothing else to watch. It's easy entertainment.
Right. And I like Jon Favreau as a director. So yeah. I might give this. I saw this in doing research for this special, but I was just like, I didn't have a lot of time to watch things, so this one wasn't at the top of my watch list. But
to be honest, I just want to give it a shout out. If we're going really from performances, not movies, I would have picked Seberg here as well, just because she was better in this, of course, because this was 15 years ago or so she has developed a lot since then.
Sure. But it's always the struggle of performance versus movie.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
So what's your number 9?
So my 9 is, I think this is going to be higher for you, is Still Alice.
Yeah, it's high for me.
Okay.
High enough for me, yeah.
High enough. Oh! I thought this might be at the very top of your list. Okay, what do you got?
My number 9 is Welcome to the Rileys.
That is higher for me.
Okay, fair enough. I would have loved to put this high as well, but the last time I saw this was, 8 years ago. And
okay.
I couldn't find the movie to rewatch it in the time we had to prepare for the special. I would have loved to rewatch it, and I have good memories of it, but I just couldn't say enough about it to put it higher.
Sure. I'll help you out later.
Yeah.
We'll get this higher up on your list.
So what's your number 8?
My 8, I don't know if you've watched this by now, is Happiest Season.
I haven't, because on freaking Prime you could just buy it and not rent it for like $12, and I wasn't prepared
still
to pay the price. It is still, yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm looking this up right now, because we talked about this on the Christmas, or like a week after the Christmas special. But is this really not? It's $10. It is now.
Okay, $10.
Yeah, but I get it. No, that sucks, because I think it might have been included in the Apple subscription.
Not really.
Or maybe you could also just buy it on there. I don't remember. I talked about this movie, I think it was literally like a week after our Christmas special.
Right, yeah.
Which, bad timing. But, yeah. I mean, Kristen Stewart, Mackenzie Davis are a couple, and Mackenzie Davis doesn't really want to tell her parents that she's a lesbian, and she doesn't want to tell them that Kristen Stewart is her girlfriend, and that leads to unexpected drama, would you imagine? But I like that movie more than I thought I would. And I think Aubrey Plaza is in this too, an actress that I really, really don't like. But I did enjoy her performance in Happiest Season. And I remember it was directed obviously by Clea Duvall, which I mentioned on the regular episode too, and you were like, who? And I was like, look her up, and you were like, that's right.
And I still forgot.
Yeah, no, that's all good. It's all good.
What did you do? I forgot once again.
Well, she's mostly known for being an actress. I think Happiest Season is her first directorial work. So it was, for that reason, it stood out to me because what was she in? Let's look this up again. She was in Argo.
Right, yeah. And I don't know the rest.
Yeah. No, I don't know why her face is so... I think was she in Zodiac?
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, you're right. Her face is so recognizable, but I can't think of a single thing. And when I look through her filmography, I don't see a lot. Who was she in Zodiac? The wife?
No, she's the one in prison. Who, I think it's towards the end when she's interviewed in prison.
What for?
I think I'm right. But I never trust myself.
A victim that survived, maybe?
Maybe, dude, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't remember.
21 grams. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw her in that. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a fun Christmas movie, you know, and I think you're watching Schitt's Creek, right?
I've stopped, not because I don't like it, just I don't know. I watched a lot of seasons in a row,
right?
And I'm kind of burned out.
Well, Dan Levy, I think,
right? Yeah.
He's also in this as the gay best friend.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And what's her name? Who I always love, Alison Brie.
Oh, yeah.
As the put together sister, you know, who's got everything going for her, but it's like I think she's sad in her marriage or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I just said but I think you're way more a fan of hers than I am.
Yeah, I like her a lot. Yeah. I like her a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a fun Christmas movie that doesn't do anything new, but it's still good for what it is. I talk a little bit more in depth on episode. I'm going to take a wild guess here. I think it was episode 45. So that's my number 8.
Out, yeah.
I think 44 was the Christmas special, and I think 45 was.
I think it's maybe I don't know. It's like maybe 40 because 52, of course, was a 1-year anniversary, which was 2 months later. When was our anniversary? That's cute. Was it at the beginning of February? I have no idea.
I'm looking this up right now. So 44 is the Christmas special, and we talked about it.
Christ.
No, but Happiest Season was actually 3 weeks after that. So episode 47, if you want to get a little bit more info on it.
All the fans.
Yeah. What's your 8?
My 8 is going to be higher for you because it's Panic Room.
It's my 6.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I think we could talk about this.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we talked about this before. We'll get to new things in a bit.
I mean, Panic Room, it's a good movie. It's a good Fincher movie. It wasn't that high up on my list, I think. Like
on the Fincher special.
Was it even on my list? Yeah, of course it had to be. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie, and I think it's a very good performance by her, especially considering her age. I just watched her Variety interview or whatever it was, like I said.
Yeah.
And I think she mentioned that she just turned 11 while filming. And that's very impressive, you know, to have such a performance by such a young actress. And she has those scenes where she gets like seizures.
Yeah.
And those are really fucking good, to be honest.
Yeah, she burst her, what was it? Eye vessels.
Yeah.
I did rewatch that Variety interview too yesterday. Yeah. And I remember it was like, wasn't she like talking about like wanting to stay on set even after like 12-hour days because she just wanted to. Was this on Panic Room? I think it was on Panic Room.
Yeah, because of course kids can't stay that long on sets for good reason, of course.
Yeah, she's like, I'm fine. I don't know. Have you watched the short film she directed?
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that as a no.
Maybe I should have.
I
didn't know there was one.
I think she talked about this on the Variety special, on the Variety interview.
Dude, the video is like 15 minutes long. Yeah. We were going to record in 10 minutes, so I skipped a lot.
Got it. No, I mean she talked about her like desire of wanting to direct. I think from early on, like when she started making movies, she got into directing, and she wanted to do that one day. And I think she has done one short film so far, and I haven't watched that, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see her first feature.
Yeah, dude, you think it's gonna come out soon?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Planned?
No, I don't think anything's planned either. I just feel like it's gonna come eventually.
Interesting. I mean, we're gonna get to her ambitions of wanting to direct, I guess, with another movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Panic Room. I mean, where was this in your Fincher list?
I have no idea, but it definitely wasn't top 5.
Okay.
But I like the movie. It's a good thriller. I feel like it's more Jodie Foster's movie than Kristen Stewart's movie. I mean, obviously it is.
But she really holds her own.
No,
I mean,
for sure.
Jodie Foster's a big name.
For sure. I completely agree. I mean, I saw this, I think this might have been my first Kristen Stewart movie.
Yeah.
Because I might as well say this now. I have not watched any of the Twilight movies. And I'm not even saying that out of spite or because it's like terrible. Yeah. I'm a fan of Harry Potter. I'm a fan. I don't want to like put it on the same. You know what I mean? I would have had nothing against watching Twilight. I just never watched it, and I don't really have the desire to do so now.
Yeah, I don't think we're the target audience here.
I don't know. Maybe I would have enjoyed it 10 or 13 years ago. I don't know, however long it's been.
Having watched all of them,
you don't think so?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, I didn't enjoy them. Yet I watched all of them.
We'll get to it on your one spot. No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, so Panic Room was obviously it came out a while before Twilight, but I did not get to know her from Twilight. It was actually from Panic Room. And yeah, as you said before, I mean, she stands, or she stood her ground very well, and she's extremely impressive, even with such an early age. Yeah. And it's just a good thriller, man. I mean, it's Fincher doing a thriller. What more do I want? It's just my 6 because it's not really Kristen Stewart's movie.
Fair enough. I mean, I think I still have 1 or 2 things coming up which are not really Kristen Stewart things, but I think the scenes that she has in them are really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. Yeah, I don't know if I misspoke that it's not Kristen Stewart's movie. It's just the 5 through 1 are like a bit bigger roles, I guess. Or I tried to do so at least. Maybe you could argue that some of them aren't, but we'll get to them.
Sure, yeah. So what's your 7 then?
My 7 is Clouds of Sils Maria. How do I say this?
Sils Maria, yeah.
Sils Maria?
I think that's good. That's higher for me.
Okay.
What's my number 7 then?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if this is even going to make your list or if it's going to be like your number 2 maybe.
It's possible.
American Ultra.
That is higher for me.
Okay. Fair enough.
There's a great list so far, by the way. It's a great list. Dude. We've talked about movies that we've talked about before, and we've said like, this is higher basically on every single movie except Seberg. Maybe.
It's going to be a bombastic ending though.
Yeah. So my 6 was Panic Room. So what's your 6?
Jesus. Really flying through this one. My number 6 is Into the Wild. And we talked about this before we started to record. And you mentioned that you didn't put this on your list because you didn't think she was in it enough.
Right. At least that's how I remembered it.
Which is fair enough. But I mean, it's been a couple of years now for me as well. The last time I rewatched this. But first of all, I really love this movie. It's really great. And I think most people that saw it really liked it. I mean, it really awakens a sense of adventure in you.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And of course, directed by Sean Penn. And it follows a guy. We didn't talk about a lot of plot so far, I think.
No, but I feel like... No, because we've said like this is higher on basically every movie yet.
Fair enough.
But I feel like the plot thing is a bit overused on our specials. I mean, we just give them a little bit of, give them a little bit of sugar. And then for them to look it up for themselves.
I mean, Into the Wild, it's a guy who wants to go into the wild. He wants to break away from society and live a free life, pretty much. And on his journey, he meets, at least in one of his journeys, he meets Kristen Stewart's character. He was kind of a free girl living in a kind of trailer park city in, I think, Utah. I could be very wrong about this.
Sure.
Because I think it's a real town. I think they even shot there.
Well, it's based on a true story, isn't it?
That, of course, yeah, that as well. And yeah, she plays guitar. She's a really good singer in this. And of course, she performed all her own songs, as far as I'm aware, playing guitar and singing.
Yeah.
And she talks about this movie in her Variety interview, talking about how...
This is a Variety interview special.
It really is. With like Sean Penn doing like really like small crews and like very intimate and very... it seems quite spontaneous and adventurous the way he shot it, which is quite fitting for this movie, of course. And I think she was fucking great in this. I think this is the movie where I recognized her as another actress than, Bella from Twilight.
Sure.
And I was like, when I saw this movie, I think on the cover it says maybe Kristen Stewart or something like that. And I watched this with my brother, I think years and years ago. And my first reaction was like, Jesus Christ, it's with the Twilight girl. So I'm not interested in this. I'm fucking 13.
No, but that's the stigma that we're trying to break today.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Yeah.
And then I saw this movie and she was fucking amazing in this, which is why it's my number 6. Of course, it's not her biggest role per se. She doesn't have the most screen time, but I think her performance is really fucking good. And it's my number 6 because it showed me her range. And dude, I kind of developed a crush on her when I saw this because...
Dude, I have a huge crush on her.
Yeah, fair enough, because dude, she's an amazing actress. And I think what she really does so well, especially in some upcoming picks, is act with her body. It's not just her saying lines, but her body language is so fucking good. And she makes her characters come alive way more. Just the way she looks and tilts her head. I think this is what makes her a great actress.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of the time it's that shyness that she portrays really well, which I think is because it is very, very true to her real personality. Mm-hmm. But that's what kind of makes her performances so real to me. I feel like I believe basically everything she's trying to tell me. And I completely agree. I really like her in that movie too. But the way I remembered it is like she's in it for like a couple of scenes, and then... let's say, spoiler alert, he goes like, "You're too young." Isn't that what happens?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like...
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah. Just
but I think they share a quite a cute bond, quite sweet, and I think she's in it then more than you would think. Okay. I think it's maybe like 10 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot,
like a 2 hour plus movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because... I mean, like I said, he goes on different journeys. He like works on a farm here. He meets a guy there, and it's a collection of these stories and him conveying them through letters to his sister. And I think she is a vital part of this story.
No, 100%. 100%.
Beautiful part. I could be wrong. It might even be more screen time or less. Like I said, it's been a while.
Yeah, I think it was actually this movie and Sean Penn directing it, which what I talked about earlier with her, like forming or developing a love for directing. I think it was that approach of filmmaking that Sean Penn had of like, just filming whatever is actually going on right now, not necessarily planning everything. That's when she was like, I want to do that too. I think it was on that movie.
Right, that's what I want to mention about directing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Completely forgot to mention that, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good pick, but I need to revisit this too. But the way I remembered it is she was just in it for not... She wasn't in it enough for me to put it on the list, but I get it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So what's your 5 then? I mean, we're already getting into the interesting picks.
Now we're getting, and I feel like because I saw this was on, I think it was on Amazon. So you watched this. It's Speak.
I didn't.
Oh,
I haven't seen Speak. No.
Oh, dude, that's a great movie. Have you heard of Speak?
I don't think so.
I thought you would have. Typed it into Amazon, and it slipped through the cracks. This is a great movie. I saw this like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's another early Kristen Stewart performance, but I'm actually contradicting myself here because she is already the leading actress in this. This is definitely her movie, and it's about so hold on, I think this came out in 2004, and Panic Room was 2002. Yeah. I think so. So this is very early on, and it's about a young girl in high school who is very shy and doesn't really speak a lot, doesn't really say a lot. And it's very, very clear from the get-go that she has lived through some sort of trauma. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't think the movie tells you what it is, even though you can figure it out rather quickly too. But it's an amazing performance. And talking of that, like she's so subdued and shy, but it's so real. Once again, she doesn't open up to anyone. She gets bullied for being like a weird person, a quote unquote weird person. And throughout the movie, it's slowly getting revealed what's going on. She's slowly forming relationships or friendships, I should say, with for example, I think it's her art teacher, played by Steve Zahn, that's a great relationship that's going on there because he's just like a genuinely great guy who knows how to pick her up, basically, and knows that sounds horrifically wrong, knows how to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Care for her and just sort of.
It's a great kidnapper. He just picks her up.
Yeah. No, I thought like it sounded like to pick her up, like a dating thing.
Oh yeah, of course as well.
A pickup line. Yeah, no, not like that at all. He's a good guy in this. He's a very good guy in this. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't see this.
Yeah, I just looked it up. The poster seems so familiar, but yeah, that flew under my radar, and I am kind of sad about it now because it looks good.
Yeah, I feel like you would really put this high up on your list.
Fuck yeah. Dude, I know what I'm going to watch tonight at least.
You're gonna? Yeah,
maybe.
I'm interested in your opinion on this, yeah. It's directed by Jessica Sharzer, who wrote Nerve. Do you remember Nerve?
Oh,
yeah,
of course. Yeah, with, what's her name? She's in everything now.
Yeah. Emma Roberts.
Roberts, yeah. Of course.
And she produced a lot of episodes on American Horror Story. So, I mean, I wasn't too familiar with her work.
Have you seen American Horror Story?
No. I'm just going through IMDb right now. But I like Nerve. But Speak is her best movie, for sure. And she obviously didn't direct Nerve, but she directed Speak. And, you know, I'm happy to hear that you haven't seen it just because I feel like a lot of people are in your position. And this could be one of those picks that flew under the radar for a lot of people, not just for you. And please seek it out. It is on Prime right now, included in English. So you don't have any excuse not to watch this unbelievably underrated Kristen Stewart movie. This could easily be higher up on my list. As I said, my list is completely all over the place. But it's a really interesting story. I mean, it's a very mature movie, too, of like dissecting trauma and how she deals with it. And it's such a well-directed movie, too. It knows what to show and what not to show. It's a great film.
But did you look for this, or did you just type in Kristen Stewart? Because that's what I did. Because I looked up a couple of movies that I was missing and wrote them down on a list. I always have my 2 watch list and 2 rewatch list, which I never finish, of course, because there's so many things on there.
Sure.
But then I typed in just Kristen Stewart on, Netflix and then Amazon Prime and then on Disney Plus and just looked up what is there. And I didn't see Speak. I saw a lot of things, but I didn't see Speak.
Well, I saw this like 2 years ago, so it wasn't. I wasn't watching this for this.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
is it still on there then?
Yeah. No, it is definitely now on Prime.
Okay.
Because I saw this because I did type in Kristen Stewart on Prime to see what was on there, and I saw that Speak was on there, and I was like, great, that's a great recommendation.
Interesting. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, I think it's called Speak in German. Maybe it's that shit.
It could be, but I still would have like just clicked on the poster, on the icon at least to see what is up.
No,
but
I see it right there.
Yeah,
Speak.
it's called Speak. Yeah, interesting.
Then there's a German subtitle. Yeah. So that's it. It's a great movie and a really underrated film. Yeah.
Cool.
Great. What do you got at 5?
5. My 5 is your number 9. It's Still Alice, which is one of the best movies on this list. But the reason why it's so incredibly good is, of course, because of the leading actress, Julia.
Julianne
Moore. Thank you, Julianne. About, of course, a mother, wife, and I think professor. She's a professor.
I think you're right.
Who has early onset Alzheimer's. Is that how you say it? I've never said Alzheimer's.
I don't think it's Alz.
This is going to be the rest of the podcast.
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Okay. Early onset Alzheimer's, and Kristen Stewart playing her daughter, who wants to be an actress, but her mother really wants her to go to college and be in more of an academic field. And yeah, they have a sweet relationship, but there's a bit of conflict, of course, there, but it's in a loving way. But then, of course, her mother develops symptoms and starts forgetting things, and her having to help, of course, take care of her, and just having to deal with her mother slowly losing her memory and her sense of awareness of the people around her, what is going on and where she is, etc. And I think it's a strong performance all around, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing movie. This movie fucking threw me away. Yeah, that's what you say. I'm tired.
Swept you off your feet?
Swept me off my feet, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just watched the scene because on YouTube you can type in Still Alice, and there's, first of all, a trailer there, but beneath that there's also like the first 10 minutes of the movie that you can just watch for free. uploaded by the official, I think, Sony Entertainment channel. And just rewatching this to get a sense of what the performances are like in this movie, because it's been a couple of years. They are amazing. I think Kristen Stewart as well. I think it's so fucking good, and it's so fucking touching because you really feel the fucking desperation of that situation, and it's very intense, that movie. I think you've seen it as well, right? Of course, it's your number 9. Of course, you saw it with me, no?
Yeah. Oh no, you saw this late, didn't you?
I saw this on. I think I bought it on Blu-ray at some point. And
Okay,
then watched
no,
it
I'm
at
sorry.
home.
I actually remember now who I saw this with. I'm sorry.
Who is it? Who is that?
It was
bitch?
Aline.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
Shout out to Aline.
Yeah, it was. I hope she's still, because she told me she was listening. It was a great time in my life where she was my movie going buddy, and we saw so many things together. So shout out to you. That was a great time.
I mean, she would be giving us an international click, right? Because she is.
Well, if it's an Austrian Spotify account, I don't know if that counts.
And that's a good point.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
She's in, where's she?
Or
Tokyo?
she's just not listening to us.
Yeah.
She's where?
Isn't she in oh no, she's in Korea, right?
Yeah, South Korea.
I thought she was in Japan for a second. No, you're right. Yeah.
You haven't
Hope
seen
you're
her in
doing
a long
well.
time. Yeah. Hi.
Well, that's not really it.
That's not really the right platform to have a conversation on.
No. I was like, of course you haven't seen her in a long time. She's in fucking South Korea.
But I think she just went there like half a year ago, and I haven't seen her in years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, but the thing with Still Alice is, I'm not as big a fan of the film as you are.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
I think this is one of the. I mean, Julie Moore in this, I think, is one of my favorite performances in recent memory.
I mean, I can't say anything bad about it. She won the Oscar for it, obviously, well deserved. And I think this was actually like the year after she got to present the Best Actor category, because obviously it's always like the former Best Actress winner gets to present the Best Actor next year, and that was when Leo won.
Oh, really?
I don't know why that's coming to mind right now, but I remember that distinctly when Leonardo DiCaprio finally won. It was Julianne Moore presenting.
This was one of their most anticlimactic wins ever, because everybody knew this was going to happen.
I disagree 100%.
Yeah?
Everyone in that room we saw it in was like, are they going to fuck him over again? Well, people expected him to win.
But was it deserved for this role? It's deserved that he got one, because Jesus Christ, Wolf of Wall Street and...
But that's what I'm saying. People expected him to win for Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I think so. But I think, well, you might be right that in that year, the competition wasn't as great maybe as in other years. But it was still a huge, I would think it was a standing ovation in the room we saw it in when he finally won.
Yeah, but I think the standing ovation was because it was him, not because of the performance per se.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Per se the second time in this episode. I don't even know what per se means.
I could go into a very deep dive. I have a funny anecdote on this, but that would absolutely I'll tell you
derail the episode.
Yeah, it would derail the show.
I mean, we have already kind of derailed. It's going from Julia Moore to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Let's talk about The Revenant a bit more.
We should really do a DiCaprio special.
We should. Yeah, we should. He's done so much in recent time. It's going to be a completely different list. Still Alice, is it Alec Baldwin?
As the husband, and
yeah.
I don't know if he's her father. I think he might be the new husband. Yeah, could be.
I agree, and I rewatched certain clips of this too, and it's once again that it's Kristen Stewart's reaction to everything that's going on to her mom that is so heartbreaking and believable at the same time.
Right.
Because it's not like she's not like in hysterics. She's like just watching this and just suffering on the inside. I think also like maybe trying to stay strong for her mother.
Sure, and also being so helpless because there's nothing you can do.
Dude, it is one of the most horrific things I can think of that happening. And it's happening way too many times from what I hear in my circle. And just like, I feel like everyone knows someone that has gone through this or has like a grandparent who, you know what I mean? It's just horrific.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, but I agree, it's a great movie and it's got great performances.
Yeah. On to a lighter topic, maybe.
Yeah.
With your number 4.
My number 4 is Welcome to the Rileys.
Oh, okay. Not a lighter pick, but it's...
True.
I'm so interested in what you got to say about this, because did you watch this recently?
No.
Okay.
No. But I loved it though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because obviously James Gandolfini,
Mm-hmm.
who you love,
So much.
yes, and Melissa Leo, who I'm a big fan of too. She's in Prisoners and in Equalizer, so many other things. But this is a story about. Is this based on a true story? I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
No. But basically, Gandolfini and Leo's marriage are Leo, not DiCaprio, Melissa Leo, that their marriage is like slowly deteriorating. They've been together for like 30 years, but Gandolfini has an affair, and Melissa Leo's character,
I completely forgot about that.
in the beginning, he's got an affair with the diner lady who ends up dying from a heart attack in like the first 10 minutes. So his life is just going, and the thing is,
Dude, I'm fascinated because I don't remember anything.
Melissa Leo won't leave the house because something terrible happened. And basically, something terrible has happened to their daughter, right? Years and years and years ago. And so they're all like just like floating through life. And basically, Melissa Leo won't leave the house. And Gandolfini obviously has an affair. And he's just like, no sign of happiness anywhere, even though he's having an affair. And then even then the affair dies suddenly. And he's just like in a terrible place. And then he goes to a strip joint and meets Kristen Stewart's character, who I believe she's supposed to be 16 in the film. I believe she was 19 when they filmed it.
Yeah, she's definitely underaged. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a very, like, out there performance from Stewart. She is like, she's going all out, right?
Yeah.
She's not shy in that movie at all, but it's a great performance. So basically, she's like going to him and asks him, like, can I give you a lap dance? Do you want to go to the room with me? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, no. He doesn't want to do that. She's, first of all, way too young. And she reminds him of his daughter. And there you have the film. So basically, it's then about them developing a relationship, not a sexual one by any means. But he wants to take care of that little girl who's like completely lost in her own life. That's all I'm going to say. And it's just her performance is one of my favorite performances of hers. And I loved it. And Gandolfini's great too. It's really about them two more than Melissa Leo. She gets to be she's got a bit of a bigger part in the latter half of the film. But the first half is really just about them. And it's a sweet relationship, and it's unbelievably realistic in my opinion. If you can't get over the fact that a 16-year-old girl and a 50-year-old dude strike a friendship, it's a great film. What do you remember about it?
Honestly, you reminding me of everything makes me want to put this higher, because I remember this being a very good movie, but then I looked up what I rated it, and it was fine, but not that great. And I think back then I wasn't ready for the ending, which I'm of course not going to spoil, because first of all, I don't even remember all of it.
I was going to say, what do you do you remember the ending?
No, I rewatched the trailer for this to kind of give me a bit of a better picture. I remember some scenes of them interacting, mostly of him coming over to her house and trying to, be there for her and fix it up and bring some order and security to her life.
Right. He's actually moving in with her.
Yeah, right.
In that shithole of an apartment.
He's in a business trip, right? He's not even in his hometown.
Right. He's in New Orleans.
Right. New Orleans, right. And I remember them interacting with each other, and I remember that being such a good performance.
Yeah.
But it had been such a long time that I couldn't quite place it on how well it really was. But what I really liked, also, like I said, rewatching the trailer, is how she looks. Because she looks really fucking tired, and like she doesn't have her life together. She's got like pimples and like greasy hair, and she's not like all done up. This isn't like a Hollywood movie of her like being presented of somebody who doesn't have a shit together, but then looking like she just came from the hairdressers. This looks, like it looks authentic. It looks like she has been through some shit, and I think that really comes across in this movie.
100%. Beautifully said for someone who hasn't seen the movie in a while.
No, thank you.
Yeah. But you remember not liking the ending?
I think the ending was... I think, too open-ended for me. Then again, I don't know what it was, so it might not have been that open-ended.
Got it. No, it's interesting for me because, I can... I don't want to give it away now, but okay. No, I understand.
Right.
Didn't bother me, the ending. I thought it was, okay. I mean, bittersweet, maybe.
I think when I saw this was like close to 10 years ago.
Sure.
Since I think I watched this not that long after I saw Into the Wild. Also, maybe you want to see something else from Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. This came out in 2010, so...
it could be about 10 years.
Yeah.
Or maybe 9. Who knows? But yeah, I remember liking it, and it really did stay in my mind. And when I put together this list, this was one of the first titles that I put down. I just didn't know where to place it.
Yeah. No, I really, really enjoyed that movie a lot more than I initially thought I would.
Yeah, I think it's also not a well-known movie.
No, it isn't. It really isn't. Directed by Jake Scott, who I am not familiar with, I'm sorry, and written by Ken Hickson,
who
that? I'm also not familiar with.
Okay.
But we need to shout him out because they both made a great film.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie. Yep.
I think.
Take my word for it. Yeah. Right. What do you got?
So it's your 4, right? Or was this your 4?
Yes. Welcome to the Rileys was my 4.
Right. So my number 4 is Personal Shopper, which I watched for this special.
That is my 3.
Okay. So, I mean, Personal Shopper, I didn't know what to expect of it. Or I did know what I expected, but it wasn't what I saw. Since this movie feels like a movie in a movie. Since it is called Personal Shopper, and it is about Kristen Stewart's character, who is a personal shopper for a high-profile celebrity. I don't even know what she does. The woman that she works for. Maybe? Yeah.
I think so.
Or actress? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, she's a personal shopper, like buying or renting different kinds of jewelry, dresses from designers, and then presenting them to her for different galas and events. But the reason she lives in the city she lives in, I think Paris, is because her brother died there, her twin brother, and she tries to contact his ghost. Which I didn't fucking expect.
Well, they did like a pact, right? Mm-hmm. They have to like send each other a sign, the first person who dies. Because they have like this heart disease. And the first person who dies has to send the other person a sign, like from the afterlife or whatever.
Yeah, but she really also goes into like saying she's a medium and going into the history of mediums, which, yeah, like I said, I didn't expect. And it's got some very supernatural elements. I thought this was more a movie along the lines of what you described with, what's it called? With one of your earlier picks, I think, with a girl working as an intern. I think it's called The Internship, the movie.
No? What are we doing today?
No, like it's been months and months since you talked about this as your pick about the girl. I think you saw it on Amazon Prime.
The assistant,
right? And I imagine it would be more along those lines.
Right.
I imagine the movie like her working as a personal shopper and like being like mentally abused by her employer and having a really hard time in that with that lifestyle. And yeah, I was very surprised.
Yeah,
I was very surprised with.
So you had no idea that it was like that it had supernatural elements to it?
None. And then when you see some supernatural things, I was taken aback. And it does have some horror elements.
This movie scared the shit out of me.
I didn't know about it, yeah.
It scared the shit out of me. But it was it's a weird movie too. Yeah, it's directed by the same guy who did Clouds of Sils Maria, Olivier Assayas, I think is how you pronounce his name. I think you have to pronounce the S at the end. I don't know why I feel that way, but I think I saw that somewhere. But first of all, I'm super surprised that you enjoyed the other film more, Clouds of Sils Maria. But we'll get to that. But Personal Shopper, it's just, first of all, it stars also Lars Eidinger, who's a German actor.
Who's also in Clouds of Sils Maria?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's those two movies are very, very, I don't know why he's in that. I like him a lot. I actually saw a movie of his recently that I thoroughly enjoyed, which is called Abgeschnitten. Okay. That's a fucked up film. You would hate that movie, but I enjoyed it. But Personal Shopper, I mean, I think it starts off with her like, because you saw this recently, right? Isn't it like her like walking through this abandoned house and just pictures are falling off the wall or something like that?
Yeah, I think it starts off with her spending a night in an old abandoned house, and then of course you kind of learn why she's there and about her whole like past. And
Right.
like I think people want to buy that house, and she like tries to make sure that it's a friendly ghost in there.
Right.
It's so weird.
But isn't she looking for her brother there?
That as well. I think it belonged to his brother, her brother and his wife or girlfriend, and he died there as well. And then she tries to figure out who the ghost belongs to in that house.
Right. Weird one. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
And quite violent at times.
Yeah. I mean, I remember especially, I think it might actually be the last scene that completely floored me.
Yeah.
Or just like the last 5 to 10 minutes where she's like sitting out in the garden.
Yeah.
And then also like the very last scene is brilliant in my opinion. But fucking scary too, man. I mean, I'm not a fan of these like supernatural horror films, which I wouldn't necessarily classify this one as, but it has these elements to it, which you, as you said, you don't really expect them. Maybe, I don't even, so when was it that you realized it was that type of movie?
Well, in the first 10 minutes or so when she was in that house. And yeah, like you said, things falling off the wall and like things being scratched into the wall and weird noises. And then you see this weird light like whispering in her ear.
But where did you see this?
On Amazon Prime. I think I rented it. Or is it on Amazon Prime? I think I rented it.
So in the description, it doesn't even tell you what it is about?
I didn't read the description. I knew I wanted to watch the movie,
so you read absolutely
surprised. Nothing at all. But what kind of threw me off about this movie, because I would put other movies on my list higher than this, but I put it as high because she's the leading actress in this and she's great.
Yes.
And in this movie, she kind of develops a bond with an anonymous person sending her text messages, which was one of the most exciting parts for me in this movie.
Dude, that train ride? Unreal.
For example. Really fucking good. And you kind of sit there guessing who it is, what this is all about. Is this even real? And she's even asking herself that. One of the first questions she sends back when somebody starts writing her with an anonymous number is, are you dead or alive?
Yep.
And you don't know, because that's the kind of movie this is.
Yep.
But what I didn't love was towards the ending. Once again, it felt like a movie in a movie with the side plots then coming out of nowhere and having very little impact.
What was the side plot?
With her being a personal shopper and with the celebrity and everything.
Right. It's not really about her being a personal shopper. That's
that as well. I mean, but also towards the end, which I don't want to spoil. And yeah.
No, fair enough. But I think the very last scene is just genius in wrapping the movie up perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just because
it's very cool.
Yeah. I love it. I really love that ending too. And as you said before, this is her movie. That's why it's so high up on my list too.
Yeah,
that's
I get it.
Like I said.
Yeah. So what was your number 3, right?
That was my 3, so it's your 3 now.
Christ.
It was your 4 and my 3, and now it's your 3.
Okay, I gotta say with my top 3, I'm not
Here come the excuses.
happy with the order they're in.
Same.
No idea why I put them in this order.
Yeah,
honestly, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
You still haven't mentioned one movie yet, and I don't know whether that's not on your list or in your top 3, so I'm very excited.
Oh, well, here's one movie, Adventureland, as my number 3.
That is higher for me.
Fair enough, dude. It could be higher for me as well.
That was the movie Jesus Christ. Just talked. That was exactly what I was just thinking of.
Okay. Yeah, dude, I was like, is this my 1? Is it my 2? Is it my 3?
Yeah.
How big is the performance? I really love this. Out of the 3 movies here, this could be my favorite one for various reasons, but we'll get to it.
Dude, I have the exact same issue.
Yeah.
So my 2, right? Is it my 2?
It's your 2, yeah.
Is
of course. Sorry,
American Ultra.
Sorry. Wow, you're number 2. Wow. I mean, sure, it was a fun ride. But
yes, I mean,
like above Personal Shopper, for example.
I would definitely put it above Personal Shopper, but I'm saying that right now. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Because I haven't seen American Ultra since I saw it the first time in theaters with you. Yeah. But I revisited some of the clips now. And I'm sorry, this is still 100% one of my favorite Kristen Stewart movies. Now, it might not be, Personal Shopper is a better performance, 100%. But if we're talking about the best thing that I've seen from Kristen Stewart, it's not quite number 1. But this is very, very high up. And we quoted this movie years after we saw this once. And it's still funny to me. Where quick plot, two stoners, like a couple, Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. Oh, hold on. I just thought of something else that might be on your list. Okay. Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart are a stoner couple. And basically, what is it? Jesse Eisenberg's character is like a sleeper agent who gets activated.
And he doesn't even know it.
He doesn't even know it. So two people come up and want to beat him up. And he's just like, his body's taken over control. And he just like takes the spoon and just kills them or whatever. And he calls his girlfriend, Kristen Stewart, and is like, I just killed two people. And she's like, right on. Right on. That sounds like a great story. And he goes like, I just killed two gentlemen. It's just that. Oh, man. And then towards the end, or what was it? A faux pas? That was like a quote we used to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
I
faux
admit
pas.
that it was a bit of a faux pas on my end. I completely agree with everything you just said. But I think, like you said, with all those quotable moments, they all come from Jesse Eisenberg.
Fair enough. It's absolutely right. But it is the dynamic between the two of them. He says it to her, and it's her reaction to it too. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. And I mean, they make a great couple, and they do
really
this
do
in so many movies, which is such an unlikely like pair up, but it really works because when I think about Kristen Stewart, I think of her like the bad girl, kind of shy but cool,
Yeah.
And Jesse Eisenberg is just quirky and funny.
I thought you were going to say he's
weird.
exactly the same thing and like shy and can be cool too.
But not cool. He's not cool in the same sense, and he says cool things or acts cool or whatever. He's cool because he's just funny. He seems like a quirky guy, which he plays a lot in like Adventureland, American Ultra, and many other of his performances.
Yeah, I think
he seems more like a nerd, and she seems like the chilled, cool
girl next door.
Girl, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like with Jesse, there's like one movie where he's like kind of cool, which is Now You See Me. He's kind of a ladies'
and that
man.
Seems kind of weird.
No,
me.
Fair enough. I'm just thinking of where he's like a cool. cool
yeah,
guy.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I'm struggling to because it's been so long since I've seen American Ultra, but I've just now like on YouTube at the clips I watched the ending again. It's mayhem, but it is fucking hilarious once again. Where he's like in the parking lot where they come out and he's just like, I'm not going to say what he does now, but do you remember that? What he does?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Topher Grace is the villain, right?
Yeah, he's like the head of the CIA or whatever, or like that program of agents.
Yeah.
I rewatched this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I bought it on Blu-ray and I enjoyed it still, but not as much. Some of the jokes, especially Topher Grace's jokes, didn't hit me as much as they did the first time.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. Their dynamic is really good between Kristen Stewart and Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. I feel bad for putting this so high because it's
no, fair enough.
But I think I made it clear why. I mean, as I said before, once again, Personal Shopper, she's way better in that movie because she's got so much more to do as well. But it's just like a fun action comedy with two actors that I really, really love with some great, great dialogue. And this movie is written by Max Landis. So this is very, very controversial because I think this dude, there's been like some allegations against this guy, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't want to...
Against his father as well, right?
Was it really against his father too? I thought it was just against him.
I think there have been some against his father as well. I think maybe for other things though.
Yeah. So I don't want to praise that dude, but I would be lying if I say that American Ultra wasn't a movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. So that's my 2.
It's done by such a weird director because it's by Nima Zadi.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Project
which is
X.
a director, I only know from Project X, which is was a very weird but intense movie. And I liked when I watched it when I was like 14, and this seems like a cool idea.
Yeah.
But I get it. American Ultra, it's a fun movie.
This was your 5, right?
It's my 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I think the ratings are quite bad. I looked this up on Letterboxd. It's got like a 2.8 out of 5.
Yeah, people have no taste.
I think we watched this in the right mood. We watched this in the sneak. I think it was like the 5th or whatever sneak we watched together.
Yeah, but I think it's still funny now when I saw clips of it on YouTube. Yeah, but you're right. The ratings are pretty terrible. Yeah. It's got a 6.1 on IMDb.
Yeah, don't let that get you down. I mean, there are so many good movies that have bad ratings.
I mean, I'm not a stoner, but if you watch The Stone, I feel like it's the best movie you could ever see. Right?
I don't know about that, but I think it would be fun.
Maybe it enhances the experience.
Sure, let's buy some reefer.
Yeah. So what's your 2?
My 2, I know it hurts me so much because I have no idea what to put where. My 2 is Café Society.
I knew it. When we talked about Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart now, I remembered that this hasn't made your list. Dude, I hated that movie.
I know you did, but
please go on. Tell me why it's great.
I rewatched this a week ago, whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of controversial filmmakers.
Him. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
With his daughter, wife.
Directed by Woody Allen, yeah.
It is a Woody Allen movie, but it's not with Woody Allen, which he usually does. But his newer movies are mostly with other actors. Although one could say that Jesse Eisenberg, who is the main character, acts very much like a Woody Allen role, very shy and over the top, and like Woody Allen would maybe say very Jewish, because that's like a big part of a lot of his characters, being very stereotypical.
Sure.
And he plays with that a lot. And also plays a big part in this movie with like his family or whatever. And yeah, Café Society, it's set in the 40s, 30s, with Jesse Eisenberg's character moving to LA from New York to work for his uncle, who is I have no idea, casting agent, talent agent, something in the movie business.
I cannot help you at all with plot on this movie. I'm so sorry.
But he meets a woman, his secretary, his uncle's secretary, who is, of course, Kristen Stewart, and he falls head over heels with her. But she's already in a relationship, and it's quite complicated, and he tries to do whatever he can to convince her to go out with him. And it's about that relationship and them breaking up because, like I said, she has somebody else, and then him trying to see what's, maybe he can get her back, maybe this is lost forever. And it's such a good movie. Café Society kind of also plays with, of course, Colt, because he later works in a club. And what I really loved about this movie is the ending. I thought it was fucking amazing.
What was
it's
the
just
ending?
so sweet. I don't want to say it.
Can you be vague? Oh, never mind. I looked it up before we started recording it.
This is so hard to talk about.
No, I remember I looked it up on Wikipedia before we started recording this.
But it's New Year's Eve. That's what I can say.
Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah. It is very Woody Allen-y from the humor and the pacing and the characters. And what kind of stood out to me, not in a positive way, is the way people acted in a lot of scenes. The way they moved around the bars and whatever, it seemed very scripted, almost as if he had said cut the second before you see it go. Okay. And they just started moving, and everybody needs to stand where they have to stand, etc. It seems quite not as flexible as the performances maybe could have been.
Not as authentic, maybe.
Not as authentic, yeah. It seems more like a play at times.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing necessarily, but I think her performance was very good. Even with that being said, because there were a couple of scenes when the two of them make out, and you feel like Jesse Eisenberg is awkwardly trying to hold himself up with one hand, which is just so he's perfectly in the frame of the camera,
It's a great observation. Yeah.
Could be wrong about that, but it looks like that's really what he's trying to do there, instead of kissing her.
Sure.
Which is what I want to see, Yeah, I don't know why this movie worked so well for me. I think it's that kind of love story that really speaks to me, that complicated thing of maybe you're right for each other, but the circumstances aren't.
Yeah.
And can you make it work? Do you want to make it work? Did you miss your opportunity? Kind of reminds me of a lighter take on the plot of Blue Valentine in a way.
Sure.
Which is, of course, way darker and way more realistic. But yeah, it's got some fun characters. Also his brother, who's a gangster in New York.
Who plays his brother?
I forgot his name.
Okay.
He's a cool actor. And
is it Corey Stoll?
Stoll sounds correct.
The bald guy?
The bald guy, of course. The bald guy.
Corey Stoll. Yeah.
And of course, Steve Carell playing the uncle. And he's a very not fun character, but a very typical Hollywood agent kind of character.
Dude, that's the thing. This movie stars Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, Steve Carell, and Blake Lively.
Yeah.
And these are 4 of my favorite actors.
What?
Yeah. You know, two. What do you mean, what?
Yeah, like, I know you like, sorry, Blake Lively, but I didn't know you liked her that much. Jesus.
Okay.
Era coming up.
Okay. This movie stars Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, and Steve Carell, who are 3 of my favorite actors, and Blake Lively, who I love.
Okay.
I like Blake Lively. I really,
Yeah, sure.
I really like her, and I feel like she's a great actress actually too. But I haven't seen enough to really say she's one of my favorite actresses.
Same.
But the movie didn't work for me at all. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the 1930s setting or whatever it was that I couldn't really connect to that world at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be lying if I could tell you anything more than that. And that's the worst thing, when someone can just tell you that they didn't enjoy the movie and not give you any context as to why. But it's been like 5 years since I've seen this, and this movie went in one ear and out of the other.
Okay.
And I was just like really, really disappointed, because I do enjoy Woody Allen movies. And as I said before, the cast is right up my alley. But it didn't work for me.
But what's your take on like newer Woody Allen movies? Because they're quite different than his older work, of course.
Woody Allen special in 4 weeks?
Oh, Jesus, that's impossible. The dude, he's like the most hard-working director, I feel like, because he puts out a movie every year. He's the Stephen King of directors.
I think he's my most watched director. I've seen the most
Yeah,
films.
I mean, that's easy,
Yeah. No, but we have the latest film. It's Rifkin's Festival. I haven't seen that. I don't think that's out here yet.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was A Rainy Day in New York with
Right.
Timothy Chalamet and Selena Gomez. I saw that at the film festival in Vienna.
Yeah,
That was okay.
okay.
Wonder Wheel.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have Crisis in 6 Scenes with Miley Cyrus, the
Didn't see that.
miniseries. Didn't see
I
that
saw the
one either.
first episode. It was okay.
Then it was Café Society, which out of the movies that I listed now was my least favorite.
Okay. Other way around for me.
Then it was Irrational Man, which I loved.
That was good. Yeah.
Magic in the Moonlight, which I really enjoyed.
It was fine.
And then we have Blue Jasmine, which is one of his
yeah.
most... I did not like that movie at all.
I saw it so many years ago, but I have very good memories of it, and especially the performance. So I think once we do a Kate Blanchett special, I think this is going to be high for me.
She's great, but the movie didn't work for me at all. And then 2 more, To Rome with Love with Jesse Eisenberg.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. I saw that in theaters.
Ellen
and Midnight
Page,
in Paris.
right?
And Elliot Page, yeah.
Elliot, sorry.
And Midnight in Paris, which is a great film, and everyone agrees on that, I think, right?
Yeah.
Those are the last 10 years. Yeah. I mean, his recent stuff hasn't been great.
He does so many things. I think there are a lot of old movies of his that aren't great either, but we just remember the great ones out of the 60 old ones that he has.
No, sure.
I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of any either, so I can't say I'm a huge fan of his classics.
Of what? Of Annie Hall?
Annie Hall, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of that movie either, but that's too controversial now.
Anyway, yeah. I mean,
that was your 2, right?
That's my 2, so it's up to your 1, which I now know what it is,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I completely agree.
I didn't think you would.
I can't be mad about this. I just put something else because of maybe other performances being better.
I'm surprised with your number 1. Really am, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The best thing I've seen from Kristen Stewart, according to my list in front of me, is Adventureland.
Dude, what a movie.
I'm so glad you share this love, because I feel like if I do this with someone else, he would laugh me out of the room. But you love that too, apparently.
I love it, and I watched the first hour before we started recording because I want to rewatch it before we do this special, but I didn't have time, so I just squeezed in the first 40, 50, 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of how fucking good this movie is. Before that, I want to put it on my 5 or 6 spot, but no, it's just that good.
It's your 3, right?
It's my 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, having talked about Café Society and having not had a lot to talk about there, I think it should have been my 2 at least.
Well, it's written and directed by the guy who did Superbad.
Yeah,
so that's
one of the best comedies.
Yes, I think that's a pretty good selling point. If you haven't watched Adventureland yet, you can check that out. Directed by Greg Mottola, and it is about, once again, Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart working together at a amusement park, according to the IMDb synopsis, in 1987. And only to find it's the perfect course to get him prepared for the real world. I mean,
what?
sure.
Really?
Yeah. That's what it
Wow.
says. And this is one of the most realistic, not necessarily movies, but relationships, I feel like, between the two of them that I can think of. And that's that's why I love this movie so much. And I remember... Go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, you say.
I just wanted to say one of the most realistic parts of this movie is, having now rewatched a couple of scenes, is whenever they like make out or are very close, he just instantly gets an erection and tries to hide it behind it like a pillow when her parents walk in.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes. It's those
Why does he stand up? Why doesn't he just keep sitting down with take a fucking pillow?
I can think of so many scenes in other movies now where where that happens too, and I was just like, yeah, I guess that's very realistic. Yeah. I remember, let's take a deep dive into something else. There's a movie called The First Time. I think it's called The First Time. I think with Britt Robertson from Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? Yeah, I think that's right. But there's a scene where they, with Dylan O'Brien, and they make out in the room, and the second she turns around, he just like puts his hand in his pants and just like flips it. You know the move? And just sort of tucks it in with his belt.
Yeah.
And I was like...
It's also talked about in Superbad.
Is it? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Jonah Hill talks about this. Yeah. Well, maybe that's where Greg Motola's got it from, in Adventureland. But yeah, please, you're good with these plot things and shit. Why did you like this movie as much? Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I love this movie is when and where it's set. Especially because it's set in the 80s, and like you said, in that amusement park where he starts to work because his parents don't have as much money as he hoped they had, because his father gets demoted, so he has to start working to pay for his own shit. There's my voice again.
There it is. We got him.
And yeah, there he meets, of course, Kristen Stewart's character, because they're both doing like the game stalls. And the reason why I love this movie is it's set in the 80s, and a big part in this movie and the plot is Lou Reed's music.
Sure.
And I am a huge fucking Lou Reed fan. One of my favorite album probably of all time is Transformer by Lou Reed, and like that soundtrack plays all the time in this movie.
Okay.
And of course, Amadeus by Falk also plays all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like an amusement park, and Jesse Eisenberg is like, fuck, can you give like a nice pick I can shove in my ear? It's like the 20th time they played this today. And of course, it's all those fucking great cast that works in that amusement park. Like, is it Jim Starr?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah?
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Also, he was like in
Silicon Valley?
Silicon Valley, and also like the old show where he was a kid. Martin Starr, yeah. When he was a kid. Also one of the earliest roles of James Franco and Seth Rogen. Freaks and Geeks, thank you. And he's hilarious in this. And he also got Ryan Reynolds as the maintenance guy, the sexy guy who, according to legends, has jammed with Lou Reed.
Yeah, you remember this way better than I do. Yeah. But he's the guy who he's together with Kristen Stewart, right? That's the drama.
That's the thing, yeah, because Jesse Eisenberg really likes Kristen Stewart, of course, because she's Kristen Stewart. She's mysterious and shy, but also very cool.
Yeah.
And he kind of starts a fling with her, or he thinks he does, but she actually also has an affair with Ryan Reynolds for quite a time. But the drama there is, of course, he's married.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quite tough. And I think the people who run the amusement park are Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig,
who are great.
Great, but I'm lately noticing like everybody around them is acting, and they're like doing SNL characters.
No, but I know. I understand what you're saying, and I don't necessarily like that when that happens, because it happens in quite a few comedies. But their dynamic and the things that they get up to they worked for me in that movie.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're still good. And I really like Bill Hader.
I do too.
So what made this your pick?
Well,
I mean, there's some great movies here, but this is still your number one spot.
Yeah. I mean, it is that mixture of like actually like funny comedy and a believable relationship. And from what I remember, it's that hesitancy of Kristen Stewart of like wanting to get into a relationship, especially with like a guy her own age, maybe. It was just like she was more like, she seems kind of lost, right? And just like, if, well, the stereotypical thing of like, she's looking for maybe a father figure or whatever it was, and just like obviously taking the wrong guy over Jesse Eisenberg, who's seemingly the right guy. And then sort of the relationship developing over the film, and I love the way it ends. And it's just like,
I don't remember.
You don't remember? There's first of all that great scene with like pouring rain, which put any scene to rain and I'm gonna love it. But just you don't remember the very, very last scene of like, are we doing this? And like, I guess we're doing this.
I don't think so, but I'm gonna finish the movie once we stop recording, I think.
Yeah.
I
just fell in love with her in that movie, and maybe that's why it's so high on my list. I could completely relate with Jesse Eisenberg's character in that film. And I was just like, hoping that he could persuade her or like, charm her.
Dude, I completely agree. It is that dynamic that makes this movie so good and so fucking charming. It's that humor that also just works for Superbad, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's just a testament to the director. It's got this very similar vibe, which is why I love it as well.
Yes. And I mean, Jesse Eisenberg as this like shy kid who gets thrown around and just like, I love him too. I think we've mentioned that a couple of times. Yeah.
I think he's a virgin in this, which is also like a thing because she has quite a bit of experience and he doesn't.
Yeah. There's a great dinner scene where they're talking and he's just like, I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And he goes like, what was it like?
I read something from Shakespeare, I think he says. I think I just
don't remember that.
Yeah.
What was the Shakespeare thing?
I think he's like, pretend it like for love I would do this and this, like this very poetic things. I don't know if I felt about her that way, so.
I just remember there was like a scene where she goes like, but so you didn't sleep with her because someone offered it to her? And she was like, what? No, because him is like, I didn't have any feelings for her or whatever. Just right. No, of course not. And for her, it's just like, so weird to see a guy who's just like not basically looking for that and that thing alone.
The nice guy.
The nice guy, yeah. Nice to see them on the big screen too. They're out there.
Sure. They're only on the big screen.
Only on the big screen, yeah.
Yeah.
What is your number one?
Yeah, so my number one is Clouds of Sils Maria, I guess.
Yeah, it's a big surprise to me.
For me as well, to be honest. Looking at this list, I'm like, why is this my number one spot?
You forgot to write the 0 next to it?
But I think why I put this high, I watched this very recently. I watched Personal Shopper, and I really enjoyed it. And then I saw Kristen Stewart did a second movie with that same director.
Mm-hmm.
She actually did it before she did Personal Shopper. And there she plays the personal assistant of Julianne Binoche's character. Is that how you pronounce her name? I have no idea.
Juliette Binoche.
Juliette Binoche?
Juliette Binoche.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, sorry.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it's Juliette Binoche.
A bit of German slipped out there. And I loved her performance. I loved her character, and I loved what they talked about in this movie because she's a personal assistant of an actress who has had her big plays and is now in her later years and has offered a role based on, it's like a sequel to the play that she became famous with, but now she plays the older character, not the younger one anymore. Right. And it starts off with the director of that play dying and her being quite taken aback by that. And then, of course, through that, the opportunity arises to take that play. And it's like the question, does she do the part? Doesn't she do it? Because she's quite hesitant about it. And she's quite in her own world and just thinks she knows way better what is good, what isn't, and doesn't understand things that are not like classical theater and dramas, and has these long discussions with her personal assistant, Kristen Stewart, about what is a movie, what is a story, and then them watching a sci-fi movie together because one of the actresses there might be playing the younger role in the upcoming theater piece and theater play, and her just laughing about the performance, and it is quite ridiculous in the movie the way they portray it. But Kristen Stewart's character arguing with Juliette, just saying, it might be a ridiculous setting, but it doesn't make it any less true. And I think it's those like interactions and those discussions they have with each other which really made me love this movie and the performance, because I think she's just so good at like being done with kind of dealing with her shit.
Yeah.
With her employee, but you can also see they're like friends.
Yeah, they care for each other.
They care for each other so much, and of course want to take care of each other because they both have their own kind of issues, especially like Juliette's character.
Yeah. Was this the film that you teased before when it was Kristen Stewart like wanting to direct?
No, I teased Into the Wild, but then I forgot to talk about it. But then you mentioned it with like Sean Penn and her being inspired by that.
Oh, are you sure? That was that? Okay, 100%.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's why I love this movie. And Clouds of Sils Marie, I think it's like a cloud formation going through the Alps in Switzerland. Like it's like a phenomenon of the clouds looking like serpents going through that mountain range. And yeah, it's quite artsy.
It is very artsy.
I think because it is, you just have way more dialogue and such great performances.
Yeah, Chloe Grace Moretz too, right?
Yeah, as the other actress, the younger one. And
the young one, yeah.
I think also why I was so surprised by this role is because it's something else for Kristen Stewart. Because yeah, like you mentioned, she does often play like the shy, cool girl, whatever. And here she plays just personal assistant. She's 100%. Not in the spotlight. She is the one who kind of tries to deal with the quote-unquote cool person, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why I loved it so much.
Yeah, and it's not really that shy part too, right? It's like more of a mature role too for her, of like being that established assistant and knowing how to deal with the shit that she's faced with every day and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like calling around and being quite authoritative.
Right.
And,
there's a great scene where she's like pitching things for her to do. Like, do you want to do that cover or for that? Or do you want to do that? And then they just laugh about the shit they get offered every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, as much as I love Kristen Stewart, I think Juliette Binoche in that film is just the star. She is. And she's just unbelievably good in that film.
She's really good, yeah.
So is Kristen Stewart. But there are some things in that film that I can't connect with. And I've talked about this before on the podcast too, where it's like some sort of ambiguity that I can't deal with. And especially towards there's a scene where characters just disappear. We're trying to stay vague here. But towards the end, and that's just like never talked about again. And it's just like...
Well, it then jumps to a couple of months later.
No, for sure.
That's pretty much the last scene, then it's over.
But I remember actually actively Googling that afterwards. Like, what the hell happened there?
But they kind of talk about it.
They do. They do.
You know kind of what this means. I mean, you can take it in two different ways, but I think it's quite clear. I mean, even if it's not, that's kind of fun to talk about. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of a cool...
Maybe I remember it more ambiguous than it was. You saw this more recently. I
mean, somebody's just gone. And
right, but it felt really very abrupt, no?
I think it fit in very well with them kind of building it up. And
okay. Maybe I remember it wrong.
I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. It's so hard to talk about because it's like literally in the last like 10 minutes of the movie.
No, for sure. Who is Lars Eidinger in this?
He's the director Klaus, who is now planning to do the sequel to the play.
Got it. But not towards the end.
No, he's in there like in the first like 20 minutes or so. Like I think it's at the tribute dinner or whatever to the late director.
Yeah.
That he kind of approaches her and pitches the role, and she's saying she can't connect with that role because she is not that person. He's like, yeah, that's kind of the point, you know. You know somebody else, and you can maybe feel like that person because you know that's acting.
Yeah,
and come to terms with that, and she thinking she can only play roles that she kind of feels like she can relate to. Yeah, but then like maybe not being honest about who she really is, and not coming to terms with that she's now the older actor.
Yeah. It's got a great ending too that deals with that subject matter too.
Right. I mean, I agree. It's more her movie, but I think she was just so great, and it's just a different role from her, which I love.
100%. And I like that pick. I'm surprised by it, but I like that being your number one pick.
Oh, thank you. I like your pick as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions or omissions?
Let me think about it. I mean, Seberg, I think her performance, like I said, really fucking good.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I mean, Twilight, I mean, it is her biggest thing. I have seen all of them. I didn't like them.
Okay.
But I
But you saw all of them.
I wanted to understand them.
Right.
Like the hype was so big, and I was shitting on Twilight so fucking much, and I was like, if I talk about it, I should at least know what the fuck I'm talking about,
Sure.
And then I watched it, and I was like, I didn't hate them as much anymore. I thought they were like just bad movies, but I didn't hate them. I didn't understand the hate anymore because I didn't have any connection with it. I was like, okay, this is not a part of my life. Let's forget about it.
Yeah.
But I also watched Certain Women by Kylie Reinhardt.
You did, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Kelly,
just about
sorry.
to say that. That's a huge omission on my list.
Omission by you didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see
gotta
it.
say, it revolves around like three short stories that are kind of connected, or like the characters are connected. And Kristen Stewart's character is like the side character in that short story. So I thought her role was just so small. And I gotta say, parts of the movie were quite boring. I thought the best part was the first short story starring Laura Dern.
Got it. Oh, not even Michelle Williams, who you love.
I love her, but her part of the movie was, I don't know, not a lot happens.
Got it. Dude, I was watching the trailer and I was just like, I know this is not going to make my list, or even that it wasn't at the top of my watch list because it looked quite boring, as you said.
I don't think you would enjoy this.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything bad about it because I haven't seen it. It's just the way I felt when I watched the trailer. But it felt like it's one of the highest rated films. But once again, you just said she's not even in it for that much.
I mean, it's quite similar from like the pacing to First Cow, as in it's got a lot of scenes that go on for a long time and nothing really happens. There's like it feels like a 5-minute scene of a woman just herding cows and riding.
Do you know who directed First Cow?
Yeah, Kelly Reinhardt.
Okay, I thought you didn't know that, and you would have made a great comparison there without knowing it.
That's why I said it. Yeah,
right.
Right.
Well,
I mean, do you have any honorable mentions apart from
honorable mentions? Let's see.
Anything mentioned?
I have a few omissions that I haven't seen.
I want to see. I think what's it called? A Rush something.
The Runaways.
The Runaways, not Rush.
Yes,
yeah, that's
Joan
something
Jett
that
film.
I wanted to watch. Yeah.
Yep, same thing. Didn't get around to that, unfortunately. But there was one thing. God, I just had it and I lost it now. Where was it?
Cake Eaters.
So, what's that?
I know she's apparently in the with Bruce Dern.
Okay, sure. No, that's not the one. I have watched Underwater, which is another recent film.
I wasn't sure if I want to watch that. I didn't think it would make my list, but it is on Disney Plus. So
our friend Arthur, the
Which
older one,
okay,
saw this one 5 times. He's got it on Blu-ray and he watched it 5 times, and I was like, okay, I guess I will watch this.
But he's got like a weird
he's a weird
taste
guy.
in movies.
He does. No, but I did not like that movie. It's an alien ripoff, and that's not necessarily even the bad thing about it. It just felt like, oh man, I don't even. No. It's just so no.
Have you seen like Billy Something's Walk?
No, haven't seen that. Now I'm just going through everything I've seen, and the only other thing is Charlie's Angels and Jumper. And Jumper, she's in it for one scene. I love that movie though.
Who is she in Jumper?
She opens the door. She's the daughter of Diane Lane's character at the very end. That's her role. She opens the door and welcomes Hayden Christensen in. I had to look it up too. I hope she's not in it for other scenes. I think it's just that.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw anything else from her.
Yeah, I'm looking through this, and the omissions. I really wanted to watch Camp X-Ray.
Okay. Yeah.
Like her working at a prison, I think.
Yeah, I think in Guantanamo Bay, actually, and falling in love with a prisoner.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, yep.
I want to watch it as well, but didn't get around to it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest omission. Yeah, I think the other ones, I think that's about it.
I watched Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh boy. Haven't seen it.
Yeah, it wasn't going to make my list. She's beautiful in it.
Okay.
But, I mean, she is Snow White.
I mean, so is Chris Hemsworth, I'm sure.
I am sure as well, yeah.
Yeah, no, there were a couple of other like smaller movies that I looked into, like Undertow or Fierce People or Yellow Handkerchief, but didn't get around to them and didn't feel like they would have made my list. And, you know.
Yellow Handkerchief was one of her very first roles, right?
I don't think it was, no.
Or am I...
No, that was 2008.
Right? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her first ever role, to wrap this up, was earliest first. Oh, where is it? Here we go. The 13th year, 1999.
Yeah, because she speaks about that very shortly
in the Variety thing.
Variety, but uncredited. Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Interesting.
I think
that's it.
Any YouTube videos? She's not been in any shows, right?
I didn't see any. I mean, I think it would be cool to see her in a limited series. I think she would be great for that.
Like an HBO limited series?
Yeah.
100%.
Be really cool. But yeah, I think she is a cool actress, and I think it was cool to do this list because, yeah, she is an actress where a lot of people still picture her in Twilight, and that's it. And she's done so many things since, and I think she's going to do so many cool things in the coming future.
100%. And the one thing she's got coming up now is a movie directed by Pablo Larraín, who did, I think, Jackie.
Okay.
Called Spencer.
Okay.
And she plays Princess Diana.
Oh, what? That's kind of a weird casting choice.
Well, there you go. She takes those weird roles and usually delivers.
Sure. Speaking about Princess Diana, I started watching The Crown.
Oh, see, that's the biggest phenomenon to me, that you haven't watched this yet. I haven't watched it, but I feel like that's something that you would thoroughly enjoy.
It's good. It's just not that exciting. I'm like, every episode that I watch, I'm like, oh, this was good, but I'm not that excited to see the next one. But then I do, and then it's good. I don't know.
Right.
Just Vanessa Kirby's role is too small.
Yeah, I saw the Dune trailer. That's the greatest thing I've seen this week.
Oh, yeah. I heard there's a new one, yeah.
Dude, I was actually like refreshing my page because I knew when it was going to drop.
Okay.
At 3 p.m. And it was just like, it dropped and it was like a 3.5 minute trailer. And I was actually like, do I want to watch a 3.5 minute trailer? Like giving stuff away and shit? Watch it, it's great. I don't feel like I know anything. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the third trailer, right? So
I think it's the second one.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the second one.
Well,
I hope we're going to get to see it because I feel like in about 8 weeks or 6 weeks, when this is kind of in about 6 weeks.
September, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I think we might have a shot.
We might have a shot.
We have better chances than in the US because we get it like a month earlier, pretty much exactly.
That's true.
So we'll see.
But I've heard like in the UK they're closing down cinemas again or like taking things off the schedule, and we'll see.
Fuck, man, dude.
We'll see.
I hope I don't know. If they close things down like the week after Dune drops, because I don't want to watch this on a small screen.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to have to if they close the cinemas for like half a year again.
Yeah. I want to watch this on the biggest screen possible too.
Yeah.
Let's hope that's going to happen. But that's it. Kristen Stewart, a fantastic actress, an underrated actress in our opinion. Maybe she isn't even underrated nowadays. Maybe I think she is sort of now bursting out of that Twilight bubble, and she has been for the past couple of years, and that's absolutely fantastic. And as you said, I can't wait to see what she does next. And I think that's it. Right?
I think I have nothing to add to that.
You got to add some social media links?
Some plugins.
Please.
Some plugs.
Some plugins. Some plugs.
Some anal plugs of
our
today's sponsor. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a blast once again to do this list. Maybe tell us what is the best thing that you've seen from Kristen Stewart. And check us out on any podcast platforms. We're available pretty much anywhere, from Spotify to YouTube to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. Check us out at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram. You can see the thumbnail there that Flo does every week. Here it's going to be 4 fantastic pictures of Kristen Stewart. It's also a thumbnail on YouTube, of course. Yeah, maybe tweet at us, write us what is the best thing that you've seen from her. Give us a like, subscribe if you can, and I don't know, have a great week.
Yeah, cook something good.
I don't know, did I forget something?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, perfect.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.